It used to be that way. It was always that way when since growing over the years. No, he's gonna put a house there.
It's very high rise, right?
I can,
Right.
so,
It's very high rise.
like Friday, that's fine. So we can ask for a
Yeah, big amusement park.
Well, you could have bought it for less than that. Then you wouldn't have to worry about trees going down.
You know how close my daughter came to buying?
I love it. It's just about trees.
In here.
No, that's.
You know, I've just been wondering.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's
she,
fine. Yeah.
do you not, we need to read those figures out like she normally
Yeah.
does? Okay.
Yeah.
And it was gone.
That's about what it was. Was about $1 million.
Six, and 11 acres, 60,000.
I think now that I know who it is, I'm gonna have a different attitude.
He warned me. He said, "You hear about it? People are gonna ask you."
It's funny how we change our perspective
Well,
of
that was looking
things.
up the other day. I was listening to a chainsaw and I saw a tree go.
Oh, I know, I've been sitting there watching them,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can hear 'em.
And he blessed us with taking Sunday off.
Yeah, well, the kid said. So I just where it said church city. Essentially, they could go right up.
So we need,
So, so that you're 20 feet. I mean, all that stuff, it's not much less out here.
Well, so that, you know, you can plow.
But you're saying just indefinite.
This was- yeah, exactly.
Limitation, but sure.
yeah.
Ways to call it.
Sure.
So we're gonna call the meeting to order at 7:01. Okay, everybody stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, any amendments to the agenda?
Yes,
Yes.
I would like for us to discuss changing the time of our meeting back to 6 o'clock.
Can you speak up?
Okay, so we'll put that under,
Thank you.
She said
under
about
new business.
6 o'clock. You can- okay, thank you.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Okay, and then I want to make a correction, we're not going to make a motion for resolution 2026-05 this time.
Do we need a motion to accept those changes? I think we do.
And do I have a motion to accept the changes?
I'll make the motion.
Second, Brandon second.
Call the vote. Did you vote?
Oh, everybody,
else raised.
okay. Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
What did you guys just vote on? I didn't hear it.
To change, to make changes to the agenda. We just made a couple changes on the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
And there's
Yeah.
copies of the agenda right here, if you
Well,
would like one.
Okay. Thank you.
They're just saying they can't hear us in the back, so you guys have to speak loud.
I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
We turned off the air conditioning.
Here, take mine.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the meeting minutes from June.
I so moved.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll make a second.
Okay. Same. Same.
Oh,
And then all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
And special meeting minutes.
Oh, and a motion to approve special meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Second. All in favor?
Abstain.
You abstain?
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Abstains.
Okay. And then all in favor?
Aye.
And an abstention.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Okay, and now we're on to guests, department reports.
Sure. Blake's.
Sheriff Blakesley's not here. Okay. Fire District 2,
Yep. So we had a total of 164 calls for the month of June. 150 EMS, 6 fire, 5 motor vehicle, and 3 others. Town of Metaline Falls had a total of 12 EMS calls. And that's down 1 call from last year was 13 EMS calls. So, we currently are not deployed anywhere outside the county for wildland deployments and are fully staffed.
thank you.
Yep.
County Commissioner Smiley.
I do have a guest with me today, Carol Richardson, our Public Works Director. You guys haven't met her, she's relatively new. She drove up here to talk to you guys a little bit about Solid Waste Advisory Committee, and I'll let her talk about that. Some of you guys have already heard this, but we're looking for some participation. Go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's lovely to meet you, and any excuse to come to North County, I always try to take it. Yeah, so the county doesn't right now have an active solid waste advisory committee. This is a committee that Washington law requires every county to have. It's a citizen committee, and you don't have to have any kind of experience with garbage to be on it. But it's a committee that advises the county commission on garbage policy, littering, recycling, all those types of things. And we're supposed to have a 9-member board, and we'd love to have representation from across the county on it. So I don't know how busy you all are. I'm sure you're very busy, but it's not a huge time commitment. It's 1, possibly 2 meetings a year, and we can do it by Zoom if you can't get down to the courthouse in Newport for the meeting. It'll probably be during the day, in the afternoon on Thursday. If you know of anybody that you could arm twist into applying for a seat on this committee, we'd love to have representation from up here. Can I answer any questions about it? And Madam Mayor, with your permission, can I pass out some flyers to the audience?
Yes, please.
And I'm available too, if anybody has any questions. Other than that, I don't really have anything to report for you guys. Unless you have some questions, I'm curious to hear from the gentleman from Rural Resources from the Connect see how that's going. Commissioner Rosencrantz and I had a conversation about it. We're gonna try to stay out of the communication loop as much as possible and get directly or hear from you, and he's on it. So always stick around for that.
Thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Monty, maintenance report?
We're good. Just waiting on some oil from the hardware
Okay,
to finish this.
okay. He's waiting on, more oil to finish the gazebo. Okay. Clerk treasurer report.
Jade has left accounts payable for your approval, which Blake has already looked at.
Yeah.
So accounts payable, that would be, we need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second? Sam seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's payable. And then we also have some expense vouchers. I don't know if everyone got a chance to look at those. Those will need a motion for approval as well.
I don't know that I saw the.
Okay.
Said we're in the other.
They were in the second folder. You guys can take a look at them now.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And while they're looking at this, there's food back there. If you guys would like a slice of pizza or help yourself, it's there for you guys.
Metaline Rose provides snacks.
On occasion.
Yeah. You want a motion on those?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second? Fran seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
And then we have some accounts payable for the beginning of this month that have been completed. And you looked at those, right, Blake?
No. but-
No?
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, I did.
Okay, so we'll need a motion for accounts payable for the beginning of this month, up until today's date.
No, I haven't looked at these.
Okay. While Blake's looking at that, I can go over the treasurer's report that the council's already seen. This year, or this month of let's see, we're doing June, so it says month of July there. This is from last month. Beginning balance of the money market account was $179,895.52. There was an interest deposit of $172.50, and the current balance as of today was $180,068.02. Business checking beginning balance was $271,671.98. There were 8 deposits totaling $628,584.48. That included the reimbursement for the stormwater separation. 18 debits totaling $7,972.33. Ending balance, which is also current balance as of today, $892,284.13. The accounts payable total was $12,619.31. Expense voucher total $801.67, bringing the total pending amount to $13,420.98. And that is it. So we'll need a motion on that folder of accounts payable and an additional motion on the treasurer's report.
motion.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the treasurer's report?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Do I have a second to approve the treasurer's report? Sam, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then we have mayor's report. So we've had 8 volunteers come and help water flowers here in town. And I've gone out every day with them, Monday through Saturday. And they've been amazing volunteers. They're from here in town and also in Metaline. They've come over and they've had projects over there, and we've gone over there to help them do stuff as well. So we've been doing that, and Monty's been putting oil on the gazebo over here in Tulgey K Park. He's almost done, he ran out. But it looks really, really good. And then I really have nothing else other than those 2 things. Okay, council reports. Fran,
I have nothing this month.
okay. Mark is not here. Sam,
I can go while you're finishing that.
Sure.
There, like I said, there's not much, nothing new with the fire department at this time. It's actually slow for us, and we'll take that. We expect it to continue to warm up this summer and just become hotter, drier. So that's all we got.
okay, Sam.
Okay, a while back, Sean Reagan had asked us to consider annexation, and we have not yet, for a variety of reasons. But I believe it's incumbent upon us to research what annexation would entail legally, and also specify what we would be looking for in any kind of transaction from a council position, being responsible to the citizens of the town. And so what I'd like to propose is sometime in the future that we hold a special meeting to discuss that as a council, open to public, of course, but nothing definite, just let's start putting our ducks in a row in case we're faced with something like that.
Mayor Sharice, can I respond to that a little bit?
Yes.
So Sam, I totally agree with what you're saying, and I'll speak to this from the county's perspective of that's gonna move from county into town. Just be aware that we're in the middle of this comprehensive plan update.
Right.
And we're having that, the consultant is having the town meetings, Sharice was at the first one. And I think we need to put this in their radar, and they will be very helpful in advising the town on the legal process for that. So I would say let's rope that into that process, because they do this all the time, and this is their professional field, and that way the cost is one.
Yes.
And the advice is one of that, and, you know, there might be some other annexation things to consider, I'll just put it that way, at the same time, and you do it all at once.
Yeah, okay.
And it's a little bit of a conflict for me, since the county will be losing tax dollars, but I agree, you know, from a, I think, highest and best use perspective, I think that should probably go into the town. I also think that the Rachel Lane area and that area across the tracks up Lehigh Hill, that group of houses that is served by Melling Falls water and sewer, in my mind, that should be Metaline Falls. We need to think about that portion of roadway and whether you guys wanna take that on or how that would. So, but I'll just say I'm in support of that, even though it's a little bit of a conflict. And I think we should, in short, I think we should roll that into that comp plan update plans. And I think you should be there if you can to those meetings.
And you're referring to the TAG meeting?
Yes, yeah. And Sharice, I don't think those are publicized good enough.
Okay.
And, you know, we get an email, I got an email to invite people to those. So I would just say, when you get those invitations, feel free to share those with anybody that you feel is appropriate in your community that would have positive input. That's one of the things I'm gonna give them feedback is, I think we need to get more public input on
Yeah,
this.
and I know that it is invite only.
Yes.
It's not just open to everybody.
Okay, so that's good to know, but I think you would be appropriate to invite a guest from Metaline Falls perspective. That's all I have on that.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Did you have anything else, Sam?
No.
Under old business, we have Cruz from Penixa to give us an update.
So I'm Cruz Thompson, the Housing Director at Rural Resources. So for the last almost 2 years now, we've been working with the board of Penixa trying to take over the property to ensure its habitability. So we are now currently in the underwriting phase of the loan with the Housing Trust Fund through the Washington State Department of Commerce. We have submitted all required paperwork to HUD, and we are awaiting their approval for transfer of ownership and the HAP contract for the property. We're anticipating to close on the loan and ownership come August or September, after which we'll be able to start the remodel immediately after. So into September, beginning of October to start the remodel. We're anticipating a 9-month build out for these units. There's currently 4 vacant units, so what we'll be doing is our contractor will be taking those 4 units, fully remodeling them, and then we'll be moving 4 of the current tenants into those 4 fully remodeled units, and then they'll move on to the next 4 units. So we're just gonna do it in phases, so that way no one's displaced, no one has to leave. They're just leaving their old unit into a brand new unit. So another thing we came to request was a 20-foot wide easement. I think did everybody get a handout? Okay. So on building A, we want to utilize those 3 units there as the ADA compliant units. The parking lot's bigger. There's no ledge like there is on building B. And then it would allow our seniors to park that much closer to the building. Right now, we do have a plan to put the ADA units on building B, but with the slope of the parking lot, there's less parking, and then the sidewalk going into the units, it's a pretty good ledge. So for me, it's a bit of a safety concern. Even if we were to have a railing, I'd prefer to avoid ledges. Those are some real quick updates for what we have going on. Do you guys have any questions?
When do you need an answer about the easement?
Sooner rather than later.
Okay. And is easement the only option?
We can't purchase it. All the money that we've been approved for the loan is gonna get eaten up pretty quick. We have a handful of wishes if we come in under budget that we really wanna do, one of those being mini splits on all the units opposed to the baseboard heaters that they have now.
Sure. Sure.
So easement, gifting of parcels. We do own a parcel behind, so it has that Penixa Village
Okay.
parcel. I don't know if a parcel swap is an option.
Okay. That would be a consideration of
Mhm.
a swap?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, from my standpoint, I know that Monty sometimes plows snow into this area, and we would like to, regardless of what happens, retain that ability.
Absolutely.
And I'm also concerned, because I've dealt with some other property stuff, that as long as, I mean, I have no problem with it as long as these are units for a HUD type.
Yeah.
Right. If it ever becomes a different type of housing, I think we would need to reconsider any because I don't want to give property that benefits a for-profit institution, right? So we need to put language in there to be able to pull that property back
Yep.
and renegotiate
Yep.
at such time.
Yep, and so the loan that we're receiving from the Housing Trust Fund is a 40-year deferred loan where we pay 1% interest annually, and we're required to maintain it as is per the loan documents, as it is currently, for 40 years. At the end of that 40 years, we either need to refinance with the same criteria, pay off the loan, which we're not gonna be paying off the loan. Or the original lenders will have to take the property over. So what will happen in 40 years, Rural Resources will refinance it, and it'll be another 40 years of that property.
Yeah, I mean, initially, I don't have any opposition other than those caveats.
Do you guys have a concept design?
So the exterior of the building is essentially gonna be the same with making it look nicer. The interior is what our primary focus in, and the roof is the first thing we gotta get up there and get that fixed. There's a lot of old plumbing, a lot of old electrical. So once they get inside, you're gonna see major changes on the interior of those units. But the overall design will stay the same, with the exception of those 88 units. A couple walls will be coming out for those.
Largely gonna stay the same exterior appearance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Dan had a
I drive the rural resource bus.
Oh, okay.
And I get to listen to all the scuttlebutt from the writers from there.
Mm-hmm.
And they have two major concerns. One is that the financing for the buying is falling through and you're about to leave them high and dry and worse off than ever.
No, not true. Not true.
And the second one is that they're really concerned that you're going to put them in a different apartment that they don't like and not let them go back into the one they came out of that they do like.
So they will be moving apartments. We have had a community meeting, but they're still gonna be in the same building. And those with means of ground floors will be staying on ground floors. So the units that are pretty banged up, have smoke damage for 20 years, they're gonna be going into a fully remodeled unit. I know there's a handful that don't wanna do that, but I think once they see a unit that's been fully remodeled, they might change their mind on that. So
They don't actually have the option though to go back into their old apartment once it's done.
no, because we only have the 4 units to turn at a time. So once that unit is turned, there will be a new lease signing for that particular unit. They'll be moved into that unit, and then that one is theirs. The deposits that they originally paid will be transferred into the new unit number essentially, and because they'll be there for upwards of 9 months to a year, then them moving back, we'd have to do a full unit turn on the unit we just remodeled. So, and to house them somewhere else, if we were to do it with one, we'd have to give every single one the option. And with that, we're looking at $180, $220 per day to house them somewhere else. So if we're doing that with 18 residents, over a course of 3 to 4 weeks, that hits the budget pretty hard and reduces the amount of things we can do on the property.
But the buying of it is solid.
Yeah. HUD has been the problem, and the main issue with this, so it's a HUD property, controlled by them, but owned by the Board of Connect. So Rural Resources is not a brokerage company, so we cannot do property management on a property we do not own. And we have to have HUD's approval to actually own the building, which we have not gotten, but should now with all the correct documents in. So Spokane Housing Authority had stepped in as the temporary property manager to do that piece, and then we're providing assistance on that, and Connexu still owns it. So once HUD's approved the transfer of both ownership and the HAP contract, and we close on the loan, then we'll be able to take ownership of it. It's been
So there is some sort of management going on over there now?
Yeah, so Spokane Housing Authority, they're partners of us out of Spokane. They manage multiple properties, Stevens, Ferry, and Spokane County. So they are the property managers, and then I have a staff person who's providing administrative duties. We're going up every Thursday. We're there about 9:30, 10 o'clock until 2, collecting paperwork, maintenance work orders, whatever other needs that might come along with the property.
Do you anticipate adding any units?
No,
No.
we won't be adding any.
But you said there's 4 empty right now, and you anticipate filling those up when you're all done?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be pretty easy to fill
Oh,
the
yeah.
units up here.
I'm sure you probably have a waiting list.
We have had, I have gotten probably 15 calls asking to be added to a wait list, but because we're at least a year out
Right.
before we put anybody in, we're not creating a wait list yet. So once ownership is within rural resources, then we'll get the wait list going.
Great,
Okay.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right, let's go. Then go fish. Ah, okay.
Okay, and the wastewater fund sustainability plan, I need a motion to approve. Has everybody had a chance? Okay, so can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Can I get a second?
Yeah,
Okay, all in favor? Say
Aye.
So what this plan does is basically provide, so that we can pay off the bills that we currently have, that we have incurred, in a reasonable timeframe, without going into debt in order to do so, any more debt to do so. So, this also provides the ability to set aside a bit of a reserve fund to replace equipment that has scheduled maintenance and different things like that. Trying to make sure that this is as economically viable and sustainable as we can make it. It also allows us to revisit it when those loans are paid off to see whether we need to adjust the rates in any direction.
Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, under new business, I would ask for the council's approval to seek out 3 bids for the sign coming into town.
Yeah, I make a motion. Or-
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then, Jade, so I'm looking for approval on the municipal boot camp for 2026 for Jade. She applied for a scholarship and she got 300 of that covered. The total is $600, but once she's paid the whole amount and after she has attended training, she submits proof within 90 days and the town would get reimbursed for that amount. And then after reimbursement of this scholarship, there will be a remaining balance of $170 in the town of Metaline Falls annual scholarship eligibility after this.
That's the cost of the event itself. Does that include travel and per diem?
No, it does not. That's just that is just the cost for the,
Are we splitting any part of that with Metaline, or can they afford any of that?
they cannot afford any of that.
Okay.
But it's in the Spokane Valley. And so she's not going to stay at a hotel, she'll travel back and forth. And she has said that she would cover the cost of her own food.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see a reason why we can't support that.
Okay. And that boot camp is from September 28th through October 1st. So it's 4 days and it is at the Center Place Regional Event Center in the Spokane Valley. A question about mileage versus hotel. Does the council want to discuss that or approve one or the other, or do they care?
I would say we address that with Jade
Okay,
and do whatever's appropriate at the time.
okay.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve that.
So moved.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So who was the first?
Sam.
Okay.
And then add the, Fran wanna talk about the change in time.
Yeah, and so now Fran.
Well, I would like for us to return to our meeting time of 6 o'clock, like we did for years. And we'll just see how everyone else feels, but I would really like to do that.
I know that we originally changed the time from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock because Blake was in paramedic school. And so by him going to school, it afforded him to be able to get here for the meeting at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
And,
So my classes are over, I'm still in a different aspect of school, so, but, I can make that change.
okay,
Mayor Streets,
yes,
I could speak into, I don't know how important it is for you guys that I'm here. If you go to 6 on this night, I'm probably gonna start attending the planning commission meetings. I've been somewhat conflicted about being here or the planning commission, which is, we're in the middle of this comp plan update. I have to really rush to get here at 6, from Newport, and then I don't get dinner. And I mean, I literally just get in the car and get here at 6, and that's fine. But I just don't know how important it is for you guys that you want your county commissioner here, so I'll let you guys decide that. But
Can you split the time to 6:30?
yeah, and so
Does 6:30 buy you enough time?
6:30 buys me enough time to get here without rushing, but no, not to have dinner, but that's okay, you guys have some pizza, so. It's okay, I look like I can miss a meal, I can miss a meal, so that's okay. I just let you know that, I'm a bit conflicted about going to planning commission meetings. I think it would be beneficial for me to be there. I'm always glad to be here if people have questions or whatever, so just let you know that. I enjoyed the 7 o'clock.
What was your time your reason for moving the time, just because we're getting done later?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and when we have a long meeting,
Yeah.
and we've had a
We
few
have,
of those.
yes.
Then getting home that late is.
Okay. Do you have an opinion?
No, I can work either one.
Monty, do you have an opinion?
6, 3,
3? Look at you.
it doesn't matter one way or
4 in the
another.
morning?
Fran, how about if we try 6:30?
That, yeah.
I mean, we'll try 6:30, and we can always move it again if we
Yeah,
need to.
okay.
But
Okay, so do I have a motion to move the meeting from 7 PM back to 6 PM?
well, we were just saying 6:30.
If you go 6:30.
Okay, so we want
Try
6:30? Okay,
I so move.
How does the
Okay.
public feel, one way or the other? You guys, we want you to come to these meetings. That's part of why we do it in the evening, as opposed to, yeah, we could sneak them in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but guaranteed to have very little public participation.
So, but 7 works for me, 6:30, I'm kinda like in the same boat as Brian, I can fly in here at
Okay.
6:30 from work,
Alright.
so that 6 o'clock I probably won't be able to make the meetings.
Okay, well, let's try 6:30 and see if we can
Okay.
keep up.
so do I have a motion?
We got a motion, we need a second.
Second.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, 6:30 it is. Okay. And then now we're on to public comment. Anybody have, yes?
I have a question. The last time we spoke, we talked about the street down here
Yes.
and getting that repaired. What's the status of that, please?
I think it's in part of our plan as far as our plan, street plan, we're putting together, but we're working on, is it TIB who does the grant?
Yeah, TIB does that, and that stuff takes time,
I understand.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just once we get back into the rainy season and stuff, water runs in those ruts right into the yards there, so,
Okay.
that needs to be fixed. At least, that part at least needs to be fixed. I mean, it's, you know, we're
We're talking about
told that that's a
six.
street, but it gets treated like an alley,
Sure.
you know? So,
And it
that's-
is-
that's-
I was just gonna say, the other portion of that is we were looking at possibly doing that as part of the lift station and the new pipeline that has to go in for the lift station. But it looks like that is not the preferred placement for that line. So, that would have been accomplished within the next year and a half, basically.
Right.
But right now, that looks like that option's off the table, or that project's off the table for that area.
So the bigger issue is the water from here running down into the yard.
there's ruts from the wheels and heavy
Sure.
vehicles, garbage trucks and stuff like that, so yeah.
Okay. I mean, if it's an immediate, don't want water in the yard, I mean, we can bring the backhoe and dig a trench. Obviously, that's unsightly and not what you want, right?
No, that's.
So-
hard work.
So as far as paving in such a way that we angle away from water running into the yard, that's gonna take time because it's gonna take money. And we just don't have a robust budget. Now, we are trying to work with the county as they begin to put together a transportation district, benefit district, thank you. So that we can start to raise more funds, so we can work on those projects, and those would apply to our streets. And we'll have the ability, the money raised in that, it's 0.2%, 0.02% of sales tax would help us build a budget that we can apply to our streets, so.
Okay. The other thing was a discussion about annexation of the hill up there, Rachel Lane and stuff like that.
Yep.
I just gotta say, just on the outside, I'm against that.
Okay.
I live up there. But I would like to know if that does happen, what benefit that would bring to us up there.
Right, well, so it would move your taxes from the county to the town. So it would benefit the town on the bottom line of the budget. We already provide sewer for you guys up there, I believe. Depends on what your location is. Certain homes are attached to our sewer system and pay an outside rate. You would get a decrease, correct?
No.
The outside
No.
rate? No, it'd go the other way? Okay. So your sewer rate would increase slightly, but the benefit would be is that you would be covered as far as if there's damage or repairs needed to those lines, that would fall on the
That
town.
slight sewer increase, I
Yes.
think would pale in comparison to the doubling of it that just happened.
Correct.
I'm not sure if there's gonna be a special meeting about that, or if that's already been settled.
We've already had 3 meetings.
we've
and
had
nobody-
I haven't, this is the first one that I've been able to attend,
Sure,
because it's the only one
sure.
I've really known about.
Okay,
There's not, like Ryan's saying, there's not a lot of advertisement on stuff, so.
just on the door and on Facebook and at the post office, were all places we put it at.
Yeah, when I.
And the newspaper, the Selkirk Sun, carried article after
Yeah, I
article.
don't get that, so.
Okay, it's free at the grocery store.
Alright.
So it is one of the avenues we try to use to
Okay,
advertise.
well, that's,
But,
yeah, whatever, that's the thing with the sewer thing, that's kind of a separate issue with me.
Okay.
And,
Are you asking the question about if will there be a hearing about the annexation or a hearing about the sewer rate?
well, both.
Yeah,
But-
the annexation process, the answer is yes.
Mhm.
Okay, and that's a long process,
Yeah.
and there'll be a lot of public input in that process.
I'm just wondering what will change for us up there, because I know that, well, down here, for example, you can't discharge firearms in town. Up
Right.
there, we have bears and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know,
We have the same bears here.
We have
Yeah.
bears.
I understand.
Ordinances, like if something like that happened, like we'd be looking at the ordinance to see what needs to be changed or how it needs to, yeah.
See, I don't know if there's any carve-outs or any sort of thing that you could make, any sort of exceptions, whatever you could do
Right.
for that, I
Right.
don't know, but if it becomes an issue, it may
Sure.
not even become an issue.
Could I ask you why, you said you were opposed to that idea, and I honestly, I'm not hard set on it.
Well,
I'm the county commissioner.
Right.
Why would you be opposed?
Only because I don't know what it entails for me
Okay.
personally.
Sure, yeah, you don't have
It's
the
gonna, how
information.
much is it gonna cost me,
Sure.
basically?
So,
Right, and how does it limit you?
Because
Right, being in
right.
county.
frankly, I can't afford those sewer increases.
so
Sure.
correct me if I'm
I'll
wrong,
take that.
because they're out of town, they're responsible for their own line.
Yes,
But by becoming a part of the town, then the town becomes responsible for those lines.
yes.
So your sewer main in the ground,
Uh-huh.
once your house gets out there, everyone's responsible from their home to the main. Once you get to the main, those mains outside, other side of the railroad tracks, those are all on you guys. So if you guys had a problem, you guys would have to solve that versus us having Monty grab the backhoe and go do whatever.
I got you.
If that
Okay,
makes
so that would be one thing.
That'd be a
That'd be one
benefit.
advantage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and I can tell you, I had a good friend that lived up there on Rachel Lane for 40 years.
Yeah.
At one time, there was a lot of money spent on that sewer main by those group of
Yeah,
houses right there.
county just ran a new water line up there.
Yeah, that's a
Well, I
PUD
mean,
did.
It didn't do me
Yeah.
anything, my water pressure is now less, so.
Right, yeah,
I know it helps the workers,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
not,
so-
not the residents so much.
So, those lines are on you guys. That would maybe be an advantage, and once it come into the town, the system is on the town then. But it sounds like the rate is largely the same.
Yeah, the rate's only
$4
originally
difference.
12.
It's
Okay.
76 up there now and 88
Yeah, it's a
down.
$12 difference,
Yeah.
right?
$4 difference.
Yeah.
$4?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was.
76 and 80 is what it is.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was 88.
For
Okay.
water? No,
No.
No, sewer.
sewer.
Sewer. Yeah.
So, I just want to say that
there's.
there's no current plans for annexation of anything.
Yeah.
But we've had a property owner asked to be annexed into the area. And
Why were they asking to do that? For the same reason, like the sewer reasons and stuff?
Yeah,
I think primarily to avoid county regulations
Mhm.
on building.
Yeah. And there's
And
a,
so,
Yeah.
that's why I think we should have a plan in place to say that, okay, if we do annex in, we are going to adapt or adopt the county regulations on building or whatever regulations are appropriate, fire protection and, various things. So I think we need to have those plans in place
yes,
so that when this comes up in the future, we have at least something to go on, or the council at that time has something to go on. Again, there are no immediate plans to annex anything.
I understand.
yeah.
Okay.
And that would, the annexation process would involve that community driving the process. And if you guys were against it as a community, the folks on Rachel Lane were against it, it wouldn't happen.
Right, and does that just cover that, or does it cover the top of the hill too?
It depends on where you do the map.
Okay.
Yeah, the other thing I can tell you, and Sam spoke to this, is the Growth Management Act and the urban growth area rules. We are a very regulated state, and in the Growth Management Act allows certain building activities to happen inside the city that will not be allowed outside the city, the town of Metaline Falls. It allows more flexibility in your building and your planning inside the town versus outside the town.
As far as home improvements or?
Multifamily dwellings, the type of buildings that are allowed, for you guys, it probably is meaningless.
Yeah,
But for a developer, it would mean a lot.
I see.
So that's one of the advantages and disadvantages. I mean, nobody on Rachel Lane is thinking about developing a multifamily house.
Right.
So it probably wouldn't make any difference. But that's the other reason they look at those, is the level of service and the rules around the urban growth area and the Growth Management Act. So those change once you go from county to town.
Sure, yeah, okay. And we haven't projected
No.
timeline on any of that?
No,
Okay.
it's all theoretical.
All right, that's.
We just had somebody approach us from outside
I
of
see.
town asking, hey, can I annex into the town?
Gotcha.
And in that discussion, there was a discussion years ago, the Pondere Village, some of the same situation.
Right.
They wanted to annex into town. At the time, the council of the town didn't want to take on their sewer system because it's built over the top of the old mine. And so there's questions as to if the town were to annex them, we're taking on responsibility for a system we don't really know.
Right.
Or can't guarantee, how that system.
It had a lot of potential issues.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
But, and we're not here to force anything on anybody, so like
Right.
Brian said, if that even was an opportunity, we would invite those folks.
Oh, I-
Come in here, sit down with us, have this discussion.
I would assume so,
Yeah, we try.
So the person that was asking about that, did they just want to annex their home and that's it?
No, it's the part, the
It's
Lehigh plan.
The
Oh,
Lehigh
I see, so it
plan.
wasn't a single family home, right?
No.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I really have for the moment.
Yes.
Hi. I have a question about the sewer system, speaking of that.
Okay.
And I was just wondering, who is responsible for taking care of the sewer system on the street, right, East Sixth Avenue down here? Because my sewer is not in the front, like my daughter, she lives next door to me, and
Okay.
hers is in the front, like with the restaurant and, you know, the other people. But mine goes down the back and not the front, so, and I always have trouble with my pipes and my sewer. I mean, I have to have a rotor-rooter out there, you know, if I wasn't really super careful. I put screens in my tub that the washer drains into, so that it can catch like the lint or anything that might go through there, because if I don't, it clogs up and I get back up in my basement and it's just a mess. And then I have to call and pay for rotor-rooter guy, you know, to come out and do that. I don't ever get any compensation or any help, but I pay the full sewer and I live, you know, here in town. I just was wondering, is there any help at all for me?
Well, so we'd have to determine where the issue is, okay?
Okay.
So, if, as I understand, help me out, Monty, you would probably have the most knowledge. From your home out to the main is your responsibility. Once it joins that main pipe where the other lines feed to, that becomes the town's.
First
Issue.
goes down the hill.
Mine goes
Correct,
down
so
the
she
hill.
may have a longer line
Doesn't-
from the foundation of the house to the main.
Yeah, and it goes through somebody else's.
It could go under their property, but that would still be her piece of pipe
Yes.
that she'd be responsible for. Does that make sense? So, depending on where this issue is at, is it at the main that we're having trouble where your connection is?
I have to have somebody come out with a snake that's like 150 feet long or 200 or whatever.
Right.
Because it's all the way from mine in my backyard, which
Sure,
is
all the
really
way down
small,
out to the highway, I would
all the way down to
assume.
the highway,
Yeah,
and that's huge.
I'll just speak to this because my parents own a house down here, and one of these houses has a sewer main going through their backyard that's like yours.
It might be mine.
It might be yours, okay? The problem for the town is that doesn't belong to them. That line
Well, then
belongs to
why
you.
do I have to pay all this sewer?
You pay to dump into their main down there on the main street. But that line that goes all the way through there, even if it goes off of your property onto somebody else's property, belongs to you. And so they can't access it on private property. And they can only work on, and I know this because we have the same issue down there. They can only work on their side of the line. So whatever happened, once upon a time, whoever put that line in, it crossed somebody else's lawn. And so that's a long ways. There's probably a sag in it. Monty probably knows, or somebody probably knows where it's at.
But if it backs up, one thing you can do is, if you want to call, let us know. And Monty can go down and flush the main line right there and see if that takes care of the problem. That's about the extent that we could do.
Wow.
So you're saying that it can't, if the, say there's a crushed pipe or some sort of problem in a pipe that's on someone else's property, you can't go in and fix that?
No, that's.
It just has to, you just have to live with that?
No,
you
she
guys
can fix it.
It's private property.
I have to pay to fix
Fix
it.
it.
I
Yeah,
have
On
to-
somebody else's property?
Well, you're gonna have to negotiate with them.
Okay.
And all of the lines, and I'll say it again, the utility is responsible for the septic, this utility, up to the private property line. Okay, doesn't matter whether it's water, sewer, electric, same thing.
But do you guys happen to have like a blueprint or something to show me where it goes so I could even talk to anybody if I wanted to?
You are welcome to access whatever we do have. We'd have to go digging for it. We'll go look. We'd be happy. You come down in and we can take a look at our maps. We only have whatever the guys before us left us,
Yeah, okay.
right? But we'd be happy to make you a copy or let you take pictures.
That would be great.
Yeah, we can definitely do
Because right
that.
now, I really don't know where the pipes go. I mean,
Sure.
I know it goes a long ways down there, but I'm not sure if it curves.
Can you point to me where you live?
I live in the middle house.
The middle
No,
one back
no,
here on the
no,
alley?
On the third house, the
I'll
one
bet-
with all.
I'll bet it does go through my parents' place. I'll bet it does. And they've replaced part of it, and they're like, oh wow, this goes up the hill.
Yeah,
And their part, they've replaced it, it was in really bad shape.
oh,
And so, the best thing is to find an idea and knock on the door.
and who are your parents?
My
Well, it
parents are
sounds like she
Marvin
has a
and Nora
basement.
Smiley.
So
They
my
own the
thought
two,
is
the
that
two
as that main
pinkish
comes
colored
down the alley,
houses down.
when they
He's so
built,
nice.
they built.
Oh,
their
that's
That
all.
is so nice.
I'm glad he
can.
is.
You have to put in a collection
It's so
point
nice
and then pump
because
up
I-
into
one
that
of
main.
his-
The trees.
And the big
to
tree
shorten
was
that.
Yes,
growing over
right.
the roof of my house.
Yes.
And I got worried that, you know, with the wind and all, that it might break off and come down. So I called him up and he's had somebody come right away.
You talk to me about your sewer line. We'll take care of it. Okay, I'll talk to mom and dad about it. But at some point, it's probably gonna need to be replaced in that line. But
Yeah.
it's the same system, because in the past, your system has flooded their basement.
Oh,
And
my
when it's
goodness.
plugged down there. And then it's backed up into their basement, and then they've had to fix that. So we'll talk about it, okay?
Yeah, well, thank you.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
Kim?
I was out riding my grandson, probably where we weren't supposed to be, back where the, like, down where the river road is, but you turn, like, there's the bar right there, and then
Yep.
behind there, then the old tracks. And we were going slow, because the grass was really long, couldn't see. Anyway, and we kept going, south. And all of a sudden, it just drops off into this big hole. If we wouldn't have stopped, we would have ended up in there. I was just curious if maybe block the,
I think that's somebody's personal property, right? Are you saying you're on the road back there, the
Yeah.
farthest back road? You can go from the fish bench around the back.
past the trailer. And
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all private property.
So
And then
yeah,
along with the railroad tracks.
Yep.
And stuff are, okay.
yeah.
Good to know.
I mean, I'd be happy to throw some flagging up, right? Some temporary flagging on 2 trees, just to give someone a heads up. But as far
We didn't
as,
see any, don't go here.
yeah, it's private property, so the fact you get to ride back there is kind of a bonus, but you take it upon yourself to kind of,
Go slow.
you could discover something you don't want to find.
Yes.
So,
Okay, thank you.
but that is good to know it's back there.
Okay.
I'll try to take a walk back there with some flagging tape to see if I can just mark it off.
Okay.
Okay. Who's next?
Anybody else? Comments? Bill?
Bill?
Mind if I do a quick presentation?
Sure.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Bill Basson. I'm with the Metaline Bigfoot Committee. I'm the vice chair of it. And then we have our other members that have put together the Bigfoot Festival from beginning of, or about the middle of February. And so we were able to get this thing going. And we did really well. We know that there's some things that are just like anything, you know, how can we make it better, how can we improve it and stuff. What we kind of learned is we had food trucks out across the front here, kind of blocked off everybody and everything. And what we'd like to do is we'd like to see about putting a power station in behind the depot here. And we got what they call spider boxes or vent boxes. What these do is we can run 50 amp leads from the train depot over to these, and we'd like to wrap the food vendors around the back side here. There was two things the food vendors were talking about, is shade. And so we kind of looked at this and we see where we can move everything over, move these picnic tables into here. And if we can get permission to put these boxes out there, let's kind of go over some of the prices. And a 200 amp box is about 300. To install it could be about 3,000, maybe a little bit more than that. 100-foot cables for a set of them would be about $750. Now what these would do is we could plug in, eliminate all the food trucks out in front, move everything aside. I know somebody was kind of talking about, is this going to make it bigger or how big is it going to be? What we're trying to do is rearrange everything to fit in here and make our guests and customers more comfortable, and leave these open, because we were finding that these food trucks and stuff, they looked like they'd fit, but they were, you know, kind of blocking off the aisle. And then we had food trucks that came in that were a little bit bigger than what we expected. So the Bigfoot committee does have some money, you know, but we also have people that said that they'd like to help the PUD. I talked to the mayor a little bit about it. Like I said, we can get, if we can get this thing done within a good reason. I still have to talk to the Bigfoot committee, which will be next month, to see if we can continue forward this. Of course, it's like the town, we gotta talk to the town if we can do this, because it is their, you know, it's their property and stuff. But these boxes, what the nice thing about them is, well, here's one for $750. I think we'll look at the little, least expensive, but that way we can hook these up, run lines in to the vendors. After the whole thing's over, we just run them out, lock the box up that we would be using. Like I say to people, it's RV plug. Well, that's just a general plug that runs these 50 amps. So, you know, I think that this would be an accessory. You know, the town can use it for other things too. You know, I know that the plugs out front there that we have aren't quite adequate, that some of the vendors were blowing the fuses and stuff, and they're older, you know. I mean, they've been here longer than I have that I can remember. So this would be an improvement, plus you can move it around, so, you know, that when the town needs to do an event or something, you know, it's your guys' to use. You know, it's a contribution from the Bigfoot Festival. Like I said, we looked at everything and we try to look at it as a positive, how can we better the festival without making it too much bigger, you know, which, you know, before, over the years, you know, it's been spread out over here, it's been spread out over there. We've had, you know, things that we look at and how can we improve, you know, and working with the town and doing these kind of things, you know, we want to be good stewards too. So, you know, how do we be good stewards? We try to invest into the town.
Sure.
You know, and it's not something that is outside of what we are capable of getting. You know, if we're able to spend some money to do this, you know, we don't want to spend the whole lot, because, you know, we got to have money for the next years and the next years, if, you know, and continue to make this a success. We want the street to be, this part of the street too, we'd like to see something in there to attract people down here. And I'm not talking about sales, I'm talking about you know, other things, you know, we can get the Wildlife Federation or other people that do, you know, public things and put them down through there, so, you know, as I say, this is kind of concepts that I walked around and seen what was good, what was bad, you know. I know that there's a lot of things that we can improve on, you know, and, so I look at this as an improvement. You know, what our main thing is, I know you guys can't vote on or anything else like that, but I just wanted to bring it tonight, talk to you about it, so you can see the concept of where we want to put the food trucks. That would be along this outside edge, because actually it was dead space there. It was shaded, you know. I see the advantages. It would get rid of probably a lot of the traffic and the coming up right here, you know. I realize that, hey, we just took this thing over from the past, so one of the main things is, how can we improve it? How can we do flow with the traffic and everything of the people? And this is one of the things I looked at, was some of the aisleways kind of got blocked off and stuff, and that doesn't give good flow. And so I want to thank the town of Metaline Falls for, you know, letting us put this on. Did you guys get the check for?
We did get the check, and to that, I met with Kelly Driver this last Saturday, and we walked through the park, and then we sat there and we talked, and there are certain things that the port is not okay with.
Okay.
But Kelly is gonna send over the agreement that we have between the towns so that we can look at it and discuss it. Is that copy, can we keep that?
Yeah,
Or do you have another copy?
Well, this board, yeah, we can leave it with you.
Okay, and we
Sometime
can get it back to you.
Yeah, because I know when I talk, sometimes it's like, not everybody always figures out what I'm talking about, you know, so that's why I kind of put this together tonight, you know, and I know that a successful Bigfoot Festival is working with everybody.
Sure.
You know, like I said, I have concepts of what can and can't work. It's like when I was talking with somebody and they said, well, how big is this thing gonna get? The answer is, I don't want it too big. You know, I want, you know, some things are out of my control.
Yeah.
Let's face it, you know, people move cones and then go park and other things like this, you know, we understand that, you know, it's not always easy to take care of everything, you know, and we had a lot of stuff that went on in the short time that we put it together. And we, like I said, we started in the middle of February. This next year, we want to open it up to some of the more local vendors and stuff like this. You know, it was a mad dash to put this thing together this year.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we want to start planning early and try to get things figured out, because when you start early, then you can cover up and fix the things that are, you know, not right, so.
So it sounds like these are temporary, the cables to these are temporary.
Yeah.
So you just need, in the end, you need our permission to put the RV outlets on the bathroom?
It could be on the train depot, on the backside, in the park. You know,
Okay.
we could have you guys take a key when the festival's over. You shut it up, you got the key, it's locked. Nobody
Sure.
can, you know, grab power off of it. Go ahead, Sam.
I just have a couple questions that you
Sure.
may not be able to answer right now, but if you could get answers to us, I think would help us make a decision. What are we looking at? Are you looking at putting in new power and a new box?
Well, that'd be the question for,
Okay.
One thing
But professional.
regarding the boxes we have in the park, one thing for council to consider if we're doing any electrical work over there is, as we've discussed when we're budgeting, we have 2 base charges in the park right now, one for the visitor center and one for the depot, and we would like to at some point merge those into one system. So if you're
yeah,
considering
we're
doing work
happy to,
over
we're
there,
happy to pay for power and things
you
like
might
that.
tie that into it.
Well, I think we have to work out the contract with the port
And the
put all
port,
that.
and Kelly did say the port does not want to see RV outlets back there at all.
Okay, but this is a little different. We're not parking RVs there. and so maybe she
It's-
doesn't
it's not-
understand it.
it's
It's
not
just
over
a
on the-
gray
it's
box.
not over on the
All you're gonna
outside
see is
towards
a
the
gray
tracks.
box.
It's on the inside of being the depot, in the park itself. So,
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of conceptions of, well, then their RVs are gonna be parking there and plugging in. No, we don't want that. We just
Sure.
wanna have that for the food trucks. We wanna get 2 lines, 2 boxes for a good start, and that's it. You know, we're willing to pay for electrical and things like this, where, you know, we're not gonna nickel and dime
Sure.
the town. We wanna put improvements and pay for things.
Okay, so my comments were, first of all, what is the scope of the project? Are we going to need new electrical lines, new boxes, things like that? And secondly, what kind of contribution are you looking for from the town in order to make that happen?
Oh,
And right now, you don't have to answer, just think about those, and if you can give
Oh,
us that.
I could start giving you an
Okay.
answer. Yeah, we'd have new professional boxes put in. We would find the money, take care of the money, or whatever. What we need to do is be able to say to a contractor or whoever, hey, how much will this cost exactly, you know?
Yeah, and they're looking big.
And like I said, I think if we do this right, I know we've got $5,000 to put in there.
Okay.
You know, $3,000 to put a setup, maybe more, maybe less, I don't know what the exact prices are today. But I still have to take it back to our board
Yep.
for approval, so.
I think what Sam's saying is if you can write us a scope of project.
Scope, yeah.
Write us a scope of project, and maybe just, you know, if you're not looking for a town to invest, go ahead and state that in the scope, that
Okay, yeah.
you guys will cover the cost. Then for us, it's simply, can we continue or abide by the contract we have with the port? And if not, what do we need to do to make
Well, we
that
also
work?
need to kind of, I know this year, there wasn't really a contract on what we can and can't do.
Right.
And I understand that, you know, it's kind of been that way in the past, but I'd
Sure.
rather have a good write-up of what we can. I mean.
Perfect.
You know,
Yep.
maybe if we can't do that, we'll just bring in a big generator and fire it off the end and
Right.
run it that way. I don't know yet, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think anyone's automatically opposed to it. We just want to know what we're talking about.
Okay. Well, like I said, it's just kind of like bringing it here tonight. I know that I wasn't on the
That's fine.
agenda, but, you know, we can start next month. But
Yeah.
the sooner we get this going,
Sure.
as I always say, you know, then we're not in the rears trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Not like February when we're all going like,
Monty, do you see an issue with a temporary setup like that at all?
No, other than you're gonna need a whole new service, transformers and everything else.
yeah, I was looking at.
You
the
can't
pull-up.
plug into anything over there.
But it's
Sure.
too low voltage.
And that's where we kind of talk in PUD, so it's, you know.
Okay.
PUD kind of looks at that would be a good, you know, something that would be a good community project,
Yep.
so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but somebody's gonna get that bill every month
And
for the meter and everything else.
Yeah, there's
It's
the
gonna be a
base
service.
charge, so
We already have that,
If-
though, over there. If they upgrade it to just more amperage, it's
if,
still the same
if
charge.
whatever they do to upgrade or consolidate could leave us with one base charge in that part of town, that would be helpful.
Okay,
Okay.
so we'd like to work with you on that,
Yeah.
if you're working with them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the Bigfoot Festival did well, you know, we
Yeah.
know where the money's at. And,
Yep.
you know, we're willing to, you know, invest back into the town, you know. I want to see, I want to bring improvements to the town,
Yep.
plus help us, plus everything else, so. That's enough out of me right now, unless you guys got any more questions.
Public, you have any questions for Bill?
Thanks, Bill.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
No, thank you.
all right, thanks, Bill.
Does anybody have anything else? No? And can I get a motion to adjourn?
I so moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Here, have a big mountain.
Okay.
Thanks.
How was the transfer?
Yeah, there's, you know, any questions?
How was the transfer?
Kind of, not really
maybe not all of it, that's where they're
And you said,
knowing
and
they're
did you
gonna have to pay.
have the generator stuff, can we?
I will say,
I
you
can
know,
get all
like,
this back to you.
I've had them come out, you know, they did some backhoe work for me. You know, so they changed the lights, put in all new lights for the high school football field. Like, they do the full projects like that. Yeah. And I think you're right, I mean, we've gotta be careful, we have upgrading the service, because they twice in one
The scope
for the rest of the
and the
year.
breakdown is the same.
But, you know, there may be some, yeah, we can also write into it, as you're talking about the contract, you know, we could write in and talk about, hey, you guys just, we'll keep that service there, and you carry the fee, you'll pay up front.
I'm waiting for the
You know,
contract.
if it's $65 a month,